What do you think? It's my goose purse. I showed this on stream one time before, but that was many, many moons ago. And I know there's a lot of new friends here now, but I have to show it again because I'm actually using it now. Hi, Bean. Hi, Pickle. It's like soft and plushy, and every time, look at its feet. Every time I show it to Mister, he thinks it's his toy, and he starts biting at the feet. So I gotta keep it out of his fucking reach, but I love it so much. I'm trying not to get it dirty, but you know how it is. Hi, everyone. I hope everyone's having a beautiful time zone wherever thou may art. I hope my music's at a good volume. I'm really trying to perfect it. And she's getting kind of tired of it, so. Oh, man. My brain is in ultra turbo ping pong pinball mode today. I filmed an episode of my friend's podcast, Teach and Make a Pogue. It's going to be available on Monday. And at some point tonight, I'll plug all that again, and I'll give you information on how you can watch it. But it wasn't supposed to be airing on Monday, but she decided after our conversation to make our episode her season premiere, which is awesome. So I'm so pumped. She said she wasn't even going to edit it. She was going to put the whole thing up, no edits. Including all the times where I was like, oh, I'm sorry, Picky's climbing on me. Sorry. Cat alert. But it was a lot of fun. We talked about a lot. Talked about being late discovered autistic and ADHD. Ranted about the endless pitfalls of capitalism. Talked about those intersectionalities and how they mix. It was just a really easy, like easily fluid and easy to keep up with conversation. Like, I was thinking about it leading up to what we're going to be talking about tonight, which is friendships. Oh yes, you can see the goose bag again. Hi, Crystal! Look at the goose.
It's goose o'clock.
Goosifer. It's big too. Cute, cute. Hi, Whiskey! Oh my gosh. Get your shit together, Whiskey! I'm just kidding. You have all of your shit together. Yes, even Butt's a fan of the goose bag. Goo Butt. That's too much information, brother. Goo Butt. Get you some baby wipes, dog. Oh man. My daily heartburn and acid reflux are now entering the chat as well. Isn't that exciting? Isn't that so fun and fresh and interesting? The answer is no. No, it's not. But anyway, talking about the podcast today. It has always, and I even said this to her, I don't know if we were still recording at that point or not. Yes, give me a tag, man, baby. Thank you so much. Page to the rescue again. Thank you, Bobbies. Whew. Sorry, y'all. It's just so much easier to talk to autistic people. It's so much easier to talk to people with the same kind of brain as me. And it's like pulling teeth trying to talk to neurotypical people sometimes, not always. Sometimes it can be easy enough if you have something in common to talk about, you know? But oh my God. We're going to get into all that shit. Knowing what to talk about, not knowing what to talk about. I don't know what to do with my hands. Like, it's a whole thing, y'all.
What should I do with my hands?
Yeah. We're taking care of our bodies, kind of. Yeah. I'm going to be flashing the goose purse at random tonight as well. I got to get this air on me, man. I love how it's literally like 50 degrees Fahrenheit outside.
46 now.
46 now. And bitch, I'm over here melting.
Just point that thing on high.
As per usual.
It'll be like the AC zone.
Hi, Waba. Look at my goose purse. I'm showing everyone that comes in. Oh, yeah. I love it. Everyone is muted? What do you mean?
Like, whiskey came in muted.
Oh, whiskey.
Right, like...
It's because I'm a loud ass bitch, and Twitch is like, no, we're muting her. Automatic mute. Look around, everybody on mute. Okay, so all that to say, friendships are fucking hard, dude. They are. Not all of them and not all the time, but just my track record with it, my struggles with it, my batting average is kind of low. You know what I mean? This screen is bright on my face. Makes me glow in the dark even more than I already do. Oh, sorry, y'all. I'm chewing an Alka-Seltzer. I have some extra teeth on board with me tonight. Oh, man. But tonight I want to cover... Well, let me backtrack. The reason why I'm even covering this tonight is because the conversations that we had on Wednesday's stream sort of lent itself in this direction. And, like, even between last stream and now, I've been making active efforts to be more participatory in messages and responding to people. And instead of always being like, I'll respond to this later, I don't have the spoons. I mean, if I don't have the spoons, I don't have the spoons. But sometimes it's just a matter of me doing that automatically. When realistically, I could sit there and for, a few minutes think of a response and fucking type it out. Like, I'm trying to recognize those sort of self-sabotaging moments in my own life. And it, I have to put all ego aside when addressing this shit, because it's such a sensitive, touchy subject for me, and it's such a lifelong struggle that, like, I'm still inclined to blame everything on myself automatically, always. But I have to put all of that aside and just see shit for what it is. And I'm getting better at that. I'm also a little bit stoned because my eddies kicked in literally just now. I took them fucking, 7 hours ago.
But you just ate dinner.
Yeah, but we just ate dinner.
Did you take them after lunch?
I took them after lunch.
There you go.
Yeah. Oh, man. But hold on. Potato, yes, you are totally to blame. You obviously are an omnipotent god, Thunderclap, and control everyone and everything and could do all the things all at once. I love that film. Everyone and Everything Can Do All the Things All at Once is the official title. Yeah, y'all. When the stock market crashes in a few whatevers, you can blame me.
In a few whatevers.
When you fucking stub your toe on the coffee table tomorrow morning, you can blame me.
It just gives me more power.
It gives me more power. For all the trials and tribulations that happened in the 70s, 20 years before I was born, you can blame me. That's cool.
That's what's been happening.
I'll carry that burden with pride on my tater shoulders. Sometimes I have to wrangle in my brain and see if I was going anywhere particular. I just jotted down a little bit of notes of some things I want to cover tonight. I don't know if we'll get to all of it, but maybe we will. Like, learning that you're neurodivergent a third of the way into your life is fucked up. It's fucked up. It's the most necessary, painful, required experience to process your entire life with this new knowledge. And like I was telling T on the podcast today, like, I truly don't know if it's possible to be late discovered neurodivergent. And I'm speaking from the perspective of someone who's autistic with ADHD. Or neurodivergence as a whole. Like, learning this stuff about yourself that's always existed is a plot twist always for whoever's hearing it, right? But it's... Sorry, I'm gathering my thoughts. The trap door, just all my thoughts are now being eaten by alligators at the bottom of the well. So What's most infuriating is when I watch these back, I know what I'm trying to think about because it happened 10 seconds ago, but I can't hold on to it in real time. It's fucked up, y'all, okay? It just is. It is. Having to process this shit is no easy task, but it's necessary. This is what I was going to say. I don't think there's such thing as an untraumatized, late discovered neurodivergent person. If not, if you haven't been traumatized from, you know, people, yeah, huh?
No, I said gestures vaguely.
Gestures vaguely. Yeah, people punishing you for existing, people forcing you into boxes that aren't your size, people handing you a chisel and being like, here, you got to whittle yourself down. You're way too much. And I have yet to meet an untraumatized, late discovered neurodivergent person. Not to say that they don't exist. You'll probably be hard pressed to find one. Let's see, Waba. I had a year after I self-discovered where I was lost, and I probably am still lost. But we doing okay right now. It's possible. Yes. Yeah. I'm just reading Waba's. Yeah. Yeah. It is impossible. I've yet to meet someone to prove that otherwise. So I want to share and kind of, I haven't really like planned what to say, just planned what to talk about. And I think talking it out with y'all will help me process it and make sense of it now as my 31-year-old self, having been discovered autistic for a year and some change now, close to 2 years. And also when I share these experiences, I simultaneously love and hate when other people can share the exact same experience. I love it because I love that me sharing mine empowers you to share yours, and we can have that moment together where we can commiserate and be there for each other. But I fucking hate it because I hate that other people have gone through this too. Because I know firsthand how much it fucking sucks. I know firsthand how impossibly hard it seems. And I know firsthand what it feels like to not see the light at the end of the tunnel, to not think that it's going to get better, ever. Hi, Spec. Also, hi. My glasses fogged up at that one. But yeah, I listed like chronologically points in my life that stuck out to me as I was going through the Rolodex in my brain real quick. So I'll just dive into some of these. Like how my ADHD presented itself. It was present throughout elementary school, but like those were my most formative years of being formed and molded and shaped by my surroundings and by my bullies. And from the time I was in literal kindergarten, teachers, administrators, staff, principals, anybody in authority figures would single me out for both good reasons and bad reasons. Like one of my earliest school memories was when I was in kindergarten or first grade. I want to say first grade. My teachers would take me out of class with a book, just like a book out of the library, a book that's like for fucking 5th and 6th graders. Elementary school stopped at 6th grade. And then it was middle school, 7, 8, 9. And made me stand in front of the upperclassmen and read out of the book. And I honestly still don't know what to fucking make of that. Like, I get it. I grew up in Southern Appalachia in the 90s, but was it really that fucking rare to see a 7-year-old that could read? I mean, like, what is this? Like, I felt like a fucking circus freak. Like, I still don't know why they did that. I still don't know. Whiskey said, growing up in the 80s/90s, it feels like when I got a diagnosis of ADHD at 12 or 13, back then it was ADD, sure. It was like, don't tell anyone, we can therapize you out of this since the meds don't work for you, but shh, you're not disabled. Don't get me started, bitch. Disabled kids are in special ed. You're gifted. You can't be disabled. Oh my God. I'm laughing at the next sentence. Plot twist, Barbara. I was disabled the whole time. To quote Sally Fields and Mrs. Doubtfire, the whole time? The whole time. The whole time.
Oh my god.
Yes, bitch. The whole time. It's shit. It's fuck. It's awful. I'm just looking at the Mount Vesuvius on my chin. She's living. She has trouble with friends too, so I'm glad she's here. Waba, I had a weird experience in the 3rd grade. I learned about later in life that my teacher put me in front of the classroom to rag on me and go around and say, "What is wrong with Henry Day?"
What? What the fuck?
No. No. And they had each kid take turns roasting you? No.
That teacher watched too much Comedy Central.
Bitch, what the fuck?
Right. Jesus fucking Christ.
Tosh.0 looking ass. Quit practicing your late night comedy club roasts on students, y'all. Hi, Sylvia. Welcome in. I had to wear a dunce cap in 1st grade. I had to wear a dunce cap in 1st grade for spelling a word wrong.
Oh, Jesus. Gross. Bruh.
Get the fuck out of here with the dunce cap. Are you fucking kidding me? Sylvia, I'm so sorry, and I am literally heating up with rage at that thought. Did they do that to all the fucking kids that would make a mistake? Jesus. Like, we were talking about this on the podcast today. It comes out Monday. I'll pull the stuff up and I'll have it later in the stream where you can watch it. Because we talked about all this shit, dude. Because it's pertinent. Growing up as an ADHDer it compounds the already hellish experience of being a child in the U.S. public school system and being conditioned from child age to get used to 40-hour work weeks and brash fluorescent lighting and doing what you're told without question. What the fuck? So yeah, I got fucking singled out for reading to the upperclassmen, like the circus freak that I obviously fucking was. I don't know. And also they had a gifted program at my school and they put me in it in kindergarten and made it out to be this like grandiose thing, but really we were just doing puzzles and like worksheets and worksheets, not for a grade. It didn't show up on the report card or anything. We would just get pulled out of class and then not have to do the other work. Like, they did that to a handful of kids, but in kindergarten I was the only one. It was just me and the teacher, and she just gave me fucking worksheets. I don't know, were they studying me? I have no idea. Appalachia is a weird place, okay? But the more I learn about neurodivergence and different neurotypes and how that's a disability for a lot of people and how gifted programs are by and large based in, you know, ableism and fucking white supremacy, like now before y'all say I need to go put a tinfoil hat on, I know that's a bold claim, but when I tell you that all you have to do is trace the fucking steps of any institutional societal problem that we have, and sometimes it's only 3 or 4 steps before you get to white supremacy. Sometimes it's the next step. But people look at me like I have 3 heads when I talk about this shit, but I'm not making it up. And it's not a theory that I believe in. I'm looking at history and I'm looking at facts and I'm looking at who is disproportionately affected by this shit. By and large, it's disabled people, it's black and brown people, it's any minority, it's women, it's LGBTQ plus people. Like, y'all gonna have to deal with my tangential rants tonight. Oh my god, let me read these chats. Y'all are fucking... This is absolutely ridiculous. I agree with you, Whiskey. Some of my favorite teachers, I think about them all the time, and they had such a profound impact on me, and I miss them. And some of them have passed on now, and then, you know, it's important to have those figures in your life that you don't have when you're younger, that you can look up to, that are positively impacting you. It's a Meester.
He was crying upstairs, so I'm giving him a little chance.
Yeah. He was not passing the vibe check earlier. Walking on cords and such. But he just wants to be free so bad. He's been trying to plot his escape ever since the last time we took him outside when we were holding him and he got to smell the outdoors, and that's all he's been thinking about. Oh, man. But talking also about being isolated from my peers by authority figures. I remember this one time in 4th grade during the history portion, we were being quizzed because, you know, it's just rote memorization, right? It's not fucking education. It doesn't teach you to think independently or critically or anything. It teaches you to fit into the cookie cutter, do the stamp, do the test, repeat. Cookie cutter, do the stamp, do the test, repeat. It's getting you ready for a mundane, monotonous 9-to-5 job. It's training baby capitalists, essentially, who will grow up to vote against their own self-interests. Anyway.
If all goes according to plan.
If all goes according to plan, yeah. Well, I was a itch in the craw of the system from a very young age, at least single digits. And not by choice. Not because I'm a master manipulator. Not because as a child I had plans to take over the fucking world. But because I need to know why. I need to know why things. If we're doing something this way instead of this way, and this way is less steps and you get here faster and more effectively, but everyone has to do it this way, I'm going to ask why we're doing it this way. Because I see a different way to do it. And every authority figure in my life has always taken that as back talk and back sass and bitchiness and incorrect and would pathologize it as poor behavior. Compound that with being undiscovered neurodivergent. Feet mirror cam. Your feet are in the mirror.
Oh no.
Pidgey's dropping the goods for free. Y'all enjoy that. I'm just kidding. Okay, yeah. 4th grade history. The teacher took turns. This is so stupid. Why would she even do this? But she was quizzing us on what year was Jamestown settled in Virginia. What year? What was the year? What was the year? Because we had gone through it a few days earlier.
1692.
Nope. You're mixing 2 dates up with that one.
I am.
PJ said 1692.
That's when Columbus sailed the ocean.
Dwight, you ignorant slut!
I'm sorry.
He needs some milk!
Okay. No one was getting it right. None of the kids were guessing. They were like, 1776, 1861, 1963, just naming important dates in history that aren't the answer. Some kids did say 1492. It was the wrong answer.
Right.
My autistic ass has always memorized dates really well, and like license plates and numbers, and I don't know. That's just how my brain it was burned into my head. I took rote memorization extremely seriously. I would like brand it into my brain.
You took it as seriously as they were trying to convey it to you.
Yeah, I took it way too seriously. I was unhealthily competitive for most of my childhood. Don't snooze the ad. Let it go through. Potato, your brain. Bonk. Okay. When it got to me, I said 1607, and it was the right answer. And TBH, also, the only reason why I knew this is because I'm from Virginia, and they have Jamestown, like, remembrance license plates that have the date that Jamestown was settled, 1607. Like, I would see it out and about because I pay attention to license plates. Like, it was seared into my brain. It wasn't me being trying to be like, I know the answer. 1607. It's like, no, bitch. I was like, 1607? And she was like, yeah! Like, she celebrated like I just scored a touchdown. The winning touchdown.
Holy shit.
And then she proceeded to, and I swear to all that is holy and unholy, she made everyone pull out a piece of paper. and write 1607 100 times. Everyone except me. So while I'm being celebrated by the teacher for having the right answer, I'm being sneered at and glanced at and hate looked at by my peers. Because in their eyes, it's my fault that they're having to do this punishment because I knew the answer. Like, that is just so fucking unnecessary. Unnecessarily pitting me against my own peers. And it happened all through fucking school. And like, the more times that happened, the further and further away I got from other people just by that distance. Like, I was labeled the teacher's pet. Like, I love learning shit. And I love talking about things that I've learned. Especially like science. Like, I loved dinosaurs and I loved tornadoes and space and deep sea creatures and shit. I'd be like, did you know that the giant squid can be up to 65 feet long? No one's talking about squid. No one has even said the word squid. But I love that I know that, and I love sharing that with you so that you too can know that. Anybody else? Our scumbag brains be like, so yeah, man, I don't understand. I mean, I do understand, but I just can't fathom how they treat kids in school. Especially with the corporal punishment and shit. Like, when my parents were in elementary school, they got their ass beat in school. Like, straight up. But I just got my ass beat at home and at school by other kids. Yes, science, yes. Just reading the chat. Whiskey, I'm reading your stuff. My third grade teacher, who was a nun who left the convent to marry later in life, she used to scream at us, if you can't handle this, you'll never be able to handle college. Ma'am, this is third grade. Okay, Cadet Kelly, I'm gonna need you to fucking relax. I'm 9. I got kicked out of a lock-in for asking why we are all different shades and colors if we all came from 2 people. Your childhood brain and my childhood brain were kindred spirits, because those were the kind of fucking questions I would ask at church, being raised Southern Baptist. And if I had a dollar for every fucking time I was told to not worry my little head with such things and just to have faith, then I would be able to buy at least 5 more goose purses. I don't know. Like, that was just... How do adults get away with being shitty communicators throughout our entire childhoods? And then those of us who retroactively look back and try to do the work and try to process that shit, point it out that we outgrew our authority figures in terms of like emotional articulation and willingness to communicate when we were like in fucking middle school. They don't like to be confronted with that. They really don't. Oh man. So that was pretty much my K through 6. It was not great. Of course, I had friends and I would like have sleepovers every once in a while, but like, because of that distance that was always put between me and my peers, partly by my fucking teachers, it affected my interpersonal relationships, like outside of teachers' purview, outside of teachers' supervision. Like, I remember in like 5th grade, this girl was a new student and she was like the popular girl. She was so pretty and so like fashionable, and she had highlights and would go tanning and just had her nails done, and everyone was just enamored by her, including me. Like, she was the coolest person I'd ever seen when I was 11. Like, I literally begged my mom, and she took me after much to do and much begging over a period of time. It might have been for a gift or maybe a back to school gift. I don't remember. But, oh yeah, look. These are alien guts for my alien pillow that I'm using for my knees. I have hand sewn this together 3 times. And this is what it looks like now. So that's a testament to my seamstress skills. But I begged my mom to take me to Abercrombie and Fitch. Mom, please. Oh my God. I know it's 35 minutes away, but I need these fucking faded green cargo pants, bitch. With pockets all the way down the leg. This is 03, 04. You know that I'm trying to give you the vision so you can sense the coolness of these fucking pants to my 11-year-old self. And she took me and I got some. And when I tell you inside of a month, all the buttons fell off. Not only is that bullshit, because the pants were like 80 fucking dollars. They were either 60 or 80. I want to say 80, but they were probably closer to 60. But still. And somehow that was my fault. Like, they were like, I'm never buying these. I'm never buying anything from that store again for you. Blah. I'm like, okay, yeah, you're right. I sewed the buttons on myself and I did a shitty job on purpose so that we could have this conversation. Come on. But anyway, I wanted to be as cool as her. And she had a cousin that was in my class. We were all the same age. And that was around the time where, like, my family got internet for the first time. And I made an X page, which is EX page. It's like just a shitty little blog. It's like the ancestor of MySpace. And before that, it was Zanga and Angel Fire. But if you know, you know. And LiveJournal, shit like that. But they would do shout outs on them. Like, we didn't know what we were fucking doing, so we would just add the name of a person in our class and make a message for them on our main page. And we would go and update them every few days, and we would look at other people's pages and see what was the message for us that our friend said. They didn't even have inboxes on X page. Like, you communicated publicly on main. And I was like in with this girl and her cousin, like in the group, like so to speak. I had made my way into the friend group and I felt so like cool and special and accomplished. Yeah, like my environment fostered this in me where my need to be liked and to have people like me was like the most important fucking thing to me ever, because like people can sniff out when someone's different. And they'll know you're different before you even know that you're different. And that was happening to me. It was happening to me all the time. Like, I would buy the moon if I had $1 for every weird look, every blank stare, every giggle under the breath, every look over to the friend and look back at me that I've ever received in my entire life from people who could sniff me out before I could even sniff out my own neurodivergence. I would buy the moon. But, we would have like fights and then we would make up, you know, just like little catty girly shit. And it was always confusing. It never fucking made sense. It was always about stupid shit, you know, it didn't matter. But one time we were doing, it was like an awards ceremony at school. Like they did them every fucking year. If you farted, you got a fucking award. But they dared me to trip as I was walking up to get my award, or to trip during that walk up or that walk back. And I was wearing like those little 2002 ass cork wedges, you know, my little flowy skirt that went down to my knees and my little pink blossom t-shirt or whatever. Très chic, I know. But like, I was thinking, should I do it? Should I do it? Like, the coolest girl in school dared me to do this. Like, maybe I'll like be even more in with that in crowd if I do this. But I chickened out on the walk up. But on the way back, I subtly did like a fake stumble. It was like, it just looked like my ankle kind of, you know, in those shitty shoes. But her and her cousin looked at each other and laughed like I had just sold out Madison Square Garden and done a crazy comedy hour. Like, they laughed so fucking hard, and like the parents gasped, and the principal made a comment like, I guess fashion is not worth it or something like that. I don't know. But later that night or that weekend, I looked on the cool girl's X page, and she always made shout outs to her cousin. and I saw cousin name. I can't believe she, or no. She was like, I told you she would listen to us no matter what. I can't believe she actually tripped. And I was like, oh, they're talking about me. Like, this dare wasn't about me. It was about them being like, hey, watch this. It wasn't about, haha, Tatum is so this or so that. It was more like, let's see what we can, like, make her do, because she's so desperate to, like, be our friend. So, man, that was some fuck shit. Then, might have been that same year, I don't know. My fucking childhood is a fucking blender full of repressed and circulated and misremembered and re-remembered and hyper-remembered fucking memories. It's none of it's chronological. I can only guess based on how everyone looked. And, like, in my head, like, well, they look about 11, so I guess it's happened when I was 11, because we're in the same class. But one of my other friends invited me to her birthday party / sleepover, and then the cool girl and her cousin were supposed to be there. And they were there, and of course, we printed off the directions on MapQuest and drove me all the way to the sleepover. It was like a state away, like in the next state. We lived close enough to the state line, so it's not like a day's trip or anything. Like, it was like 40 minutes. But anyway, we get there and we're like snacking, you know, fucking watching movies or whatever. And then we started doing, like, you know, silly little hand fucking things and, you know, just being girls in 2003. And I don't remember what happened. But at some point, the whole night devolved into a screaming match between, like, 6 of us. And it was cool girl, cousin, and some of the girls against me and the girl whose birthday it was, and, like, one other girl who just was quiet and not knowing what the fuck was going on. And the parents had to, like, separate us and talk to us and calm down. Like, kids, like, girls were crying. Like, it was heated. I don't even know what it was about. But anyway, that's when the girl whose birthday it was told me that cool girl and cool girl cousin were planning to, while I was asleep, cut my hair. And my hair at that point was all the way down my back. It was super long. And, like, the length shouldn't even fucking matter. But, like, I'm painting a picture here. So, that really fucking hurt my feelings. And I called my parents and made them come get me and take me home. So, me not understanding that I was being taken advantage of by these girls as the butt of the fucking joke. That's such a consistent theme through my life. With friendships. And looking back, it's, of course, because I didn't understand the game that was being played. That everyone else seemed to fucking know about and be tapped into. Like, everyone else knew something that I didn't. And that was used against me. And that's just really fucking shitty, you know? Criminal, offensive side eye. Bombastic side eye. Yeah. Oh, man. This chat's good. I'm excited to watch it back tomorrow.
Oh, yes. Lots of good talking.
Holy shit. I don't know if it's just acid reflux or if my stomach's actually hurting from remembering all this shit. Maybe a little both. But it's so mean, and, like, why are the most popular people mean and people praise them for it? I will never understand. I don't know. I think it's a power thing. I feel like when people are that popular, there's a power that comes with that. Like, people want a piece of that cool factor. They want the cool to, like, rub off on them. They hope that, like, being around this person will make them cool by proxy. Myself fucking included. Throughout my whole school. K through 12. College may be an exception. But by college, I was in an echo chamber of the music department surrounded by other undiscovered neurodivergent people. And therefore, I never questioned my traits. And never retroactively made any realizations because it was normal. Because everyone was fucking weird. You know? So, Oh. I don't know. And it's such a popular trope, too. Like, popular people are fucking mean, you know? And they are. Not all of them, but, like, so many of them are. Enough of them are. I've had experience with enough of them that, yeah, enough of them are fucking mean for it to be a trope. But, yeah. So, that was K through 6. And then, in middle school... A lot of middle schools in my area were just 7th and 8th grade, but the one I went to was 7, 8, 9. And I went through 7th grade, joined concert band, learned how to read music, and had a blast in that fucking class. Like, I was on percussion, and once I realized that the bells were set up the exact same way as piano keys, I got myself, well, I asked and received, because I was young, too young to drive, a little keyboard, and I would practice my scales. Like, I was very diligent. They bought me a drum pad and drumsticks, and I would practice in the garage. Like, I loved it. I loved it so much. So I was able to find a little bit of community in that, and we had concerts and stuff. Super fucking fun. I don't remember a whole lot from my middle school, because 8th grade, some really fucked up shit went down, and it kind of left a nuclear-sized crater in my memory banks around that time. But, I mean, it ties into fucking friendships and stuff, and oh yeah, it's Nugget! Hi, Nugget! Welcome in, friend! Hell of an entrance, as always. You never disappoint with the entrance or with anything else.
That's true.
But yeah, I haven't talked about this on the internet. I don't know if ever. I don't know what I've talked about. I talk about a lot of shit, but I haven't talked about it lately enough to feel like I shouldn't talk about it. But like, looking back, I feel like this was a formative experience for me, and this is like definitely a blemish on my track record of friendships that still like haunts me and is still lurking in the back of my mind when I feel myself getting close to someone. So, oh man. So in 7th grade, the elementary schools from all around the area, you know, pulled kids from all of them, and all in the same middle school. So I got to meet some new people, but I ended up becoming super, super close with one of the girls that I actually went to elementary school with that we weren't close to in elementary school. Not that we weren't friends, but we just weren't in the same class. We didn't see each other a lot. But we were like the same fucking person. Like, looking back, there's no doubt in my mind this bitch is neurodivergent. No doubt in my mind. But I'm not going to use real names here. We'll call her June. Like, our birthdays were one day apart. Like, we both loved Smallville. Like, we literally would get home from school, call each other, be on the phone, watch the latest episode of Smallville that we begged our parents to record for us, and we would, like, weep and laugh on the phone together. Like, we were both fucking obsessed with Tom Welling, and just, like, we had a lot of the same special interests. I would stay over at her house a lot. We went to the movies together, the mall. Like, she was my best friend. Like, really my first and one of my only best friends like that. So, hey Spooky, cute spooky weird, welcome. Let me read what you said. Most of my school experience was awful. I'm so sorry. I struggled so hard socially, have had lots of traumatic and rough experiences. I learned how to socialize quite a chunk from movies, TV shows, and books. Yes. That is a big, I'm learning now, like, in adulthood, as an autistic adult, that's a big autistic thing. I mean, besides from, like, echolalia, mimicking noise and impressions and things like that, but, like, romanticizing and visualizing your life as whatever movie or show you watched. Like, thinking your life is a movie or wanting your life to be like that movie or that TV show, and you adopt traits that reflect that. Like, holy shit. It's such a common thing with us. Big same. So 7th grade was pretty chill, but 8th grade was rough. It was really rough. Like, I'll just get into it. So June and I had a friend that came from another elementary school, and we sort of like grouped together as like a 3-person best friendship. We'll call her Jessica. So June and Jessica. And like, I was friends with June, like we were besties. And then I was good friends with Jessica, but also June and Jessica were really good friends. So like, we were all friends with each other, independent of each other, to varying degrees. But my friend Jessica had this huge crush on this guy named Jason. And she was always talking about him. She wanted him to be her first kiss, like just gushy teenage girl, ooey gooey love, you know what I mean? And it was quite frankly all she talked about. And he had been held back a couple of grades, but he was still in our grade. He was a couple of years older than us, though. We were all in band together. And in 8th grade, we were all in 8th grade. One morning before class, we were at our lockers, and Jessica comes up to me and June and is like, oh my God, you're not going to believe this. You're not going to believe what Jason just gave me. And we were like, what? A kiss? Like, what? She was so excited. But then she like brought us over and opened her little zippy change purse. And in it were 7 or 8 little pills that I'd never seen before. I'd only ever seen ibuprofen or Relieve. I didn't know what they were. I didn't know what I was looking at. But there were almost a dozen there. 8 or so, you know. And I was like, what? We were like, what is this? And she said, they're Xanax. Jason brought a bunch of Xanax to school, and he's giving them to people. And I was like, holy fucking shit, Jessica, don't take those. Please. I was like, please, go flush them down the fucking toilet. Do not take them. Flush them down the toilet, throw them away when you get home. Don't take them. For the love of fuck, do not take them. Medicine and pills and stuff always kind of scared me a little bit, and I think this is probably one of the reasons why. But among other reasons, like, I'm better with taking ibuprofen now when I'm in pain, but I used to be like afraid of it. I don't know why. Not afraid, just like extremely reluctant. But anyway, I don't know, Sylvia. Like, why? Indeed. Like, we were all 13, 14. He was 15 going on 16. So we were in different classes, different homerooms. And I was a fucking wreck. But I had to hold it in and keep it together because I was told not to tell anyone. Don't tell anyone. So I was grappling with this all fucking morning. Scared to death that she took them and she's going to like die or something before lunch. Because she said she was going to take them. And I was like, please don't. Like, I begged her so hard I remembered my limbs were aching. Just putting everything in me to get her not to fucking take those. Well, first few classes go by, lunch rolls around. That's when some shit starts going down. Everyone's sitting down by the time I get in there, but no one's really eating. I get my food and come sit down with a group of band friends, and they were all talking about it. They were all talking about Jason, all talking about the Xanax that he brought to school, and talking about who he gave them out to. And we were like, did you get any? No, I didn't fucking get any. Do you know anybody that got any? Anybody that got any? And at that point I was like, no, I don't know. But I did. I knew Jessica had some. Well, a fucking ambulance shows up and medics walk into the lunchroom with a gurney. They go down the hallway where the classrooms are, and I'm like, what the fuck? And then they wheel Jason out with like one of those things they were holding against his face. And we were just fucking beside ourselves. We all started crying. I was fucking vibrating with just fucking fear that something was going to happen to Jessica. And that Jason wasn't okay either. Because, like, Jason was that guy. He was, like, nice to everybody until he brought Xanax to school. But apparently he took a bunch and got really sick and passed out or something like that. So they took him to the hospital. He's fine. He pulled through. No one passed away in this story or anything. But after lunch was band class, and it was in a separate building. We had to wait to be let in because it was locked when not in use. And we were all just weeping, confused, scared, talking about it. And then we get into the band room, and the teachers aren't in there. And we're all just talking amongst ourselves, like, what the fuck's going on? Is Jason going to die? Do you know anybody that has them? Does anyone in here have any of those? Like, don't fucking take them, like, get rid of them. And no one had any that was in there that they made us aware of. But then the band director walks in with a police officer behind him. And they stood up in front of the class and kind of gave us an overview of what was going on. Basically, like, I'm sure you all know what happened to a degree. Like, the student brought illegal substances to school and distributed them to people. And if you have any, or if you know of anybody that has any, or has taken any, or has them on their person, you need to tell us. Because this is dangerous. Obviously. 12 and 13-year-olds popping Xans is not okay by any stretch of the fucking imagination. So the classroom was like back here. They stood in front of the chalkboard, and then behind the chalkboard, there's like a door on the side, and you walked in, and it was like a supply closet with like the fucking chairs and risers and trombones and shit. And they were taking kids in there, mind you, in front of the class, one at a time, closing the door. Anybody that wanted to come forward and say tell them what they knew. And by this point, oh my God, I was absolutely eaten alive with worry and fucking bone-chilling fear that something was going to happen to my friend. One of my best friends, if not my best friend, tied with June. So, June and Jason, by the way. No, sorry. June was in there with me. We were in band together. Jessica and Jason were also in band with us. Neither one of them were there. So, we saw Jason get rolled out at lunchtime. And then Jessica's not here. You can only fucking imagine where my 12, 13-year-old mind is. Thinking the fucking worst. Like, end game worst. So I was sitting there wringing my fucking hands. A couple kids go up. So I just, in my head, I was like, listen, like, I know that if you tell them this, she's going to probably get in trouble. But would you rather her be in trouble or dead? And I was like, yeah, trouble. So I got up and I went in there, closed the door, and I told them. And once I like let it out, like I felt such an immense feeling of like, damn, I just betrayed my best friend. Like, I told them. I told on her. I snitched on her. But it wasn't to get her in trouble. Like, I was terrified that she was going to get sick or die. I didn't want anything to happen to her. And holy fucking shit. This happened in like December. Like near the end of the semester. And I was just weeping fucking hysterically for the rest of the day. I was just so scared. But we found out later that they had found out that she had the pills. I don't know if it was from me or not, but that was why she already wasn't in the classroom. And Jason got expelled, from what I remember. And anyone else who had the pills were suspended for the rest of the school year. So for the rest of the semester, and then the entire spring semester, they were suspended from school. And June was in there with me, but we were sitting in our sections. June played flute. I was in the back with percussionists. So I was back there fucking bawling my eyes out. And something changed in June. The person, not the month. She became upset with me. She eventually found out that I told. I don't remember the particulars of how she found out, but it over the course of the spring semester, this turned into June getting boy crazy about this kid that doesn't go to this school. We'll call him Dylan because that's his real name. And you'll understand why I'm sharing that here in just a second. So she was crazy for this boy. She was goo goo gaga, head over heels in love with this boy. Talked about him all the time. And he was very like standoffish, sort of like emo vibes, like skater boy, like ne'er-do-well, you know? Those were the vibes. Well, over the course of that semester, June pretty much stopped talking to me and spent all of her time talking to Dylan, fraternizing with Dylan, texting Dylan, calling Dylan. No more Smallville chats, no more phone calls, no more mix CDs that we would make for each other, none of that shit. But also, remember back in the day in 5th grade, it was EX Page. Well, now it's Angel Fire and Xanga. Xanga. It was like a blog site. You could have a profile picture and make posts, just like a fucking run-of-the-mill blog. Well, I had one, June had one, Jessica had one, Dylan had one, but I want to say this happened probably around April or May. It was near the end of the semester, probably closer to May. My Xanga would get spammed with comments from a page that I wasn't friends with or following, with death threats to me. I know what you did. You're going to burn in hell. You're a nasty slut who deserves to die for what you did. Talking about me telling on Amber. And the only reason I knew that is because they told me. Well, I leaked the name. It's not Jessica, it's Amber. Whatever. Who cares?
Yeah.
This was fucking 15 years ago.
You're not throwing down.
I know.
Dresses, like,
Sorry. I'm really fucking bad at substituting names. I'm really bad at substituting names and like trying to hide people. Oh well.
I saw the wheels start turning. You're like, I just said, well, fuck it.
Fuck it. Who cares? Yeah, it's Amber. Whatever. So, knew I told on Amber. And the profile picture was a picture of me making a silly face. I was like, ooh, you know, something crazy like that. But it was taken from June's phone. So it helped me piece together also some independent sleuthing of my own and connections I made through Xanga that June and Dylan were making Xanga accounts with my picture of me making like a ridiculous face, dedicated to death threats of me, dedicated to ending my life. Like one of them was, the websites don't exist anymore, so don't go looking. I've already checked. I've checked many years ago, and they're not up anymore. But there was two of them. There was Xanga.com/Tatum deserves to die, or Tatum should die, something like that. And then Xanga.com/Tatum's going to hell, or whatever. And it was super like black and red and like fire, flame, fucking colors, and just, I'm going to kill you, I'm going to murder your family, I'm going to set your house on fire. Just some of the vilest shit that at that point in my life I had ever been told. Ever. So I told my parents because I was fucking freaking out. Hi, Belance. I didn't see you come in. Thank you, friend, for being here. Sorry. Oh, wait. Yeah. Wait, who's Amber? Haha. Late reaction. Yeah, it's her. But anyway, Amber's fine. She pulled through, all that stuff. But toward the end of that school year, I told my parents, and we filed a police report with the state police. And they came to our fucking house and interviewed us about this. But granted, this was like 03, 04. Like, no one knew anything about shit. No one knew shit about fuck.
Right.
As far as like tracing IP addresses and all that shit and like cracking the code.
The internet was only like 6 years old.
Yeah, the internet was still like in its infancy in Southern Appalachia.
Yeah.
So nothing was ever done officially. And at the beginning of that summer, my band, 8th grade band, I still finished out my 8th grade year there. Finished out band, finished out concerts and stuff. We took a trip to Six Flags as the band. And by that time, I was playing softball and I was pitching and taking lessons from a coach at a high school 1 state away. So by then, my family and I had made the decision that for my safety, I had to move schools out of state to this high school so I could play softball. And this is hard. This sad ass music isn't helping either. At the end of the day, so my dad always went on these trips with me. He drove himself. It wasn't that far of a trip. But I rode the bus there with my friends. But when it was time to go home, I got on the bus to get my stuff. And the couple of friends that I had left, I had to tell them, I didn't expect to fucking be crying. Thank you. I had to tell them that I was moving. And I just like dropped it on them like that, like a bomb, and then I just left. And I didn't ride the bus home. I rode home with Dad. Because I was just fucking like inconsolable. And like, for some of those people, it's the last time I ever saw them or spoke to them. Jesus. Gross. This is gross.
Oh, Jesus. Gross.
This is gross.
Helicopter, helicopter.
Fuck me. Well, I think I'm gonna take a BRB. And get this out and collect myself. And then I'll talk about shit. Hopefully it doesn't fucking make me cry. But I've never shared that story like as an adult. And it, by and large, is one of the worst things I've ever been through. And it caused a ripple effect that still fucking affects me today, obviously. It's always in the back of my mind when I start getting close to someone, because like June and I were like this. We were like this, you know? And she betrayed me on a colossal level. And like outside of like romantic partners, like PJ's my best friend. He's my person. He's my soulmate, my human. Outside of that, I haven't had a best friend like this since. And I know that this is the reason why I'm still so fucking scared. I'm really scared. I haven't had my guard down with anybody like that since. And then I fucking moved to a school where no one fucking knew me at all. So that was
you're
fun.
perfect,
Some
you're
of them-
beautiful, you look like Linda Evangelista, you're a model.
Thank you. Who said that? Nugget. I can't see shit without my spectacles. Anyway, let me fucking get cleaned up. Y'all take a stretch break, smoke break, cry break, whatever break. And we'll be back soon. All right, we back. Hello. puffy eyes, swollen nose, or stuffed nose. Yeehaw. Welcome back, everybody. Thank you for letting me share that. A lot of like my nervous system responses and shit and fear that I feel when I'm trying to get close to people definitely stems from all of that. It's something that I'm still struggling to process and reprocess and reprocess. Like, it's a lot. But it's just, you know, par for the course being alive on this planet, I guess, in my case. But I more so want to venture off into now talking about like adulthood and navigating interpersonal relationships and friendships in adulthood, because it is just as perplexing, just as confusing, and sometimes just as hurtful. Like when I was in college as an early adult, I was like in my little bubble, my little music department bubble, where all the music majors hung out and saw each other fucking 5 days a week and even on the weekends, and we were just like a literal family. And I'm still in touch with quite a bit of those people, and I love them and they love me, and I miss them too. Like I don't want to be like, no one has ever understood me, because that's not fucking true. There have been a handful of people along the way who have understood me and stuck by me and didn't make me have to dilute myself in order to be palatable, and didn't make me feel like I had to jump up and down and be like, hello, is this thing on, to be seen and heard. And I'm immensely grateful for those relationships. But I will say that being around people who are easy to be around didn't take away from the fact that social situations were still really draining for me. So when I was like 19 or 20, I started drinking just so that I could stomach going to these things. Like going over to someone's house for a get together, or like a Halloween party or movie night. Like, I was drinking myself into fucking oblivion so that I could physically be there. Because without that, more often than not, I was too fucking tired from being in college full time to do much of anything. I don't know how everybody else fucking did it. Well, we were all kind of drinking. But yeah, alcohol served as my gutter rails to navigate social situations throughout most of my fucking 20s. It really factored into my last relationship too. Like, I'd get fucking dragged to the local pub fucking 3 times a week and would drink myself into oblivion just to handle, you know, the shit that was flung at me all the time. But my stomach has drawn a line in the sand with me to the point where I can't really drink anymore at all. Like, aside from this Kahlua that we got, that we still haven't finished.
Oh no, it's finished.
Oh, you finished it.
Never throw it away.
Oh.
I like to look at bottles. I'm a weirdo.
You're a weirdo. Those are your words, not mine. You're my weirdo. But aside from that, the last thing I drank was like a coconut porter outside in August when it was so hot, and porters are so thick and it was so rich. I was like, how do people do this? To me, all beer tastes the same. It's all liquid bread. I can't do this. I can't do this. So that's why I don't drink anymore. But now I have weed. Wind chime sound here. Wow! And now I medicate with weed to help, like, calm my mind down and help me sort of delineate what the fuck I'm trying to say. Of course, we know how that goes more often than not. But, I would drink a lot, like, in social situations, but not at work. Obviously, I can't fucking drink at work. So, always, as an adult, I would struggle to make relationships with my coworkers. Like, we were all there because we needed money, and we worked there. Like, that's, in some cases, the odd jobs I've worked throughout the years, that was the only thing that me and my coworkers would have in common. I've worked in retail, at the mall, different stores. I've worked in restaurants. I've worked customer service. I've worked desks in car dealerships. I've worked at call centers. And just racking my mind real quick. There might be 2 people out of every job that I've ever had that I still talk to today. If that tells you anything. But honestly, capitalism was so... It's fucking deadly and disabling. We already know that. But like, if you're disabled and you don't know you're disabled, and you're navigating the world as if you are not disabled, but other people are able to do things that you are not able to do, you very much take it as a behavioral problem. You take it as a personality flaw, a character flaw, and you internalize that shit. Like, making friends was not my priority whenever I was at these jobs. My priority was surviving the fucking workday. My priority was not snapping by lunch. And by snapping, I mean buckling and imploding. I don't mean like bleh. But just, I wasn't cold, like, I'm not here to make friends, I'm here to make money. But like, it just wasn't a priority. But like,
Sound like Kylo Ren.
did I sound like Kylo Ren? I'm not here to make friends, I'm here to make money. So just like swinging and missing and failing and not realizing when there's like downtime at a restaurant and everyone's just standing around talking that's a cue to kind of jump in and talk. But I never did because it didn't come naturally to me. I didn't understand why it was happening, and I didn't know what the fuck to talk about. I never know what to bring up with people. I can talk, and I can talk for a long time about things that I know about and things that I'm passionate about. But like, navigating small talk was just always a game written in an unknown language that I cannot fucking read or decipher. And I would try to guess, and I would always get it wrong to varying levels, varying degrees. And trying to connect with people, I've had like, you know, minor mishaps, like a little, that was awkward. And I've had big misses too, where they're like, oh, okay, I'm never fucking talking to you again. And everything in between, right? But in the past few years especially, I've tried to put myself out there more. And I'm still fucking getting my toes wet, y'all. Listen, you're gonna have to bear with me, okay? Tired. Confused. Exhausted. Too busy trying to power on every day. Still working through this shit. Like, I know everyone has shit that they're working through, but like, I just have so much fucking shit that I'm trying to sort through that I'm trying to look past all that so that I can start this up as an adult. But like, abusive relationships aside through adulthood that I've had, I've found little community bubbles here and there that have been like my home and my family. And I've never felt more at home. Like, music, college, that was like perfect fit, perfect, like, we were family. But the only other time I've ever felt like that as an adult has been when I did community theater. Same group of people, same discovered and undiscovered neurodivergent people, all there because they love theater, their special interest is theater. Like, of course, there's the trope that theater kids are annoying. We know. Even before we were in theater, we knew, because y'all made it blatantly obvious by verbally telling us that we were annoying and making us dilute ourselves into making us smaller so that we were more easily digestible to the quote-unquote normies the quote-unquote neurotypicals. But for me, being neurodivergent is fucking normal. I feel my most normal when I'm around people just like me. Like, I don't think about it at all. But I'm the most aware of my autism when I'm in a room of allistic / neurotypical people. Because there's this like almost palpable resistance that I feel in the air. And like everything is like catching, like nothing's going smoothly. Like everything is like every micro interaction is going poorly. Like I could usually tell. Not to say that all neurotypicals make me feel that way. Not even close. Yes, Spec. It feels so tense. It feels tense as fuck. Like, God. The amount of times that I've just like failed neurotypical interactions and then my RSD creeps in. My rejection sensitive dysphoria due to trauma, right? And it really hammers home. They don't like you. They hate you. Stop talking. You're being fucking weird. You're creeping people out by being weird for some reason. People are looking at you funny. Just stop. Just stop doing what you're doing. But I kind of don't have that voice in my head anymore. Miraculously, in spite of it all, I've managed to put a lot of that down. But it's had to happen at my own pace. And like when the pandemic started, like March 2020, I was too fucking busy, you know, wiping the dust off from the shitty abusive relationship that I'd just gotten out of and trying to reclaim my identity as a person. Like, forget making friends. Like, I needed to find out who my now self is because I didn't know who that person was because my previous relationship didn't allow for that. And any sort of friendships that I made during that relationship were friends that my ex had already been friends with them for a number of years. Like, some of them go back to like middle school. And I don't have that connection with anybody in my life. I can think of one person who I've known since 2005. And we've been really good friends this whole time. To this day. We call each other A1 from day one. And that's my friend Alexis. I love her so much. No doubt in my mind, there's some neurospiciness there. And like, I value and cherish what we have so much. During the times where we do get to catch up, it's like we're just picking up where we left off. There's no formalities of dusting off like, where are you working these days? And do you have pets? And what do you think of how are the Cowboys going to do this year in the playoffs? Just fuck the small talk. The few people in my life who I can pick up as soon as we left off, like nothing happened, those are my people. Those are the people who I hold nearest and dearest. Like, so much. Mask Praxis, thank you so much for the follow. Thank you so much, so much, so much. Thank you. I'm so glad you're here. I really value and cherish those people because the whole Groundhog Day shit, every single day, disregarding the shit that we talked about the day before. I'm time blind, y'all. A big part of the reason why I pick up where I left off when I'm talking with people over a prolonged period of time is because I'm time blind. Neurotypicals like to hit the reset button every morning. Like, they don't walk into the room and be like, so what we were saying last night about the thing. It's always, good morning.
New conversation.
New day. New conversations. New everything. And it's like, wait a minute. The last 24 hours felt like 45 minutes. Can I have a minute? Can we talk about the other things? Why are you still talking about that? We're on to other things. Why do you worry so much about shit? I'm not worried. I want to finish the conversation that we were having because I wanted to say something. No? Okay. Be right back. Gonna go fuck myself, you know? And, oh, God. I'm just, like, cringing over and over again at all the swings and misses, especially, like, in groups. I'm still learning and still figuring out how to double dutch my way into conversations in groups of people. I'm thinking, like, pre-pandemic, like, at parties and shit, like, at people's houses or whatever, at a dinner or whatever. Like, just so many times of sitting and observing, mostly sitting and observing, and being responsive to what other people are saying. And I'll be like, should I double dutch in here? I have a thing here. And then someone else will start talking. I'm like, yeah, sure. Yeah. I'm thinking this to myself. You go ahead. Yeah. I'll double dutch in after you. Trying to get the timing right. Like preparing myself. And then I'll start to say the thing because there's a kind of a lull, kind of a silence there. And then I'll get, you know, maybe 5 or 6 words out. And then someone over here will start talking and everyone will whoosh, pay attention to what they're saying. And this didn't always happen, but when it did, I was so thankful for the person who was sitting near me with a life raft. And they would see what was happening, and they would look to me and they'd go, I'm listening, please continue. It makes me feel like, holy shit, like, I didn't just imagine that. Holy shit, thank you. Thank you. I would love to share this thing that I was trying to share. You know, it's pickle. It's funny when that happens in a group of autists because we all go from chattering at once to saying, oops, sorry, to silence as we all wait for the other people to speak. Yes. Pickle and I and Pidge and Bean and Crystal and our friend Hammer. We have game nights every once in a while where we're like, all hop on a Discord. And I think we were talking about this literally last night.
Yeah.
Where I think it was Pickle that said it. He was like, you're like talking about how everyone's just like simultaneously having conversations with other people over other people, but no one's getting interrupted and everyone can hear everything and process it. And it's almost magical. And dare I say it, neurotypicals could never. Neurotypicals could never. Let me read Cute Spooky Weird here. I would get so upset when I would say things and people would give that weird look or not say anything or sort of record skip and then they resume their convo. Yes! What the fuck is that? What the fuck is that? Besides something that that causes deep pain and confusion in my own body. That's not the button I wanted. Oh my god, where's my button? I need that whole fucking song, man. It goes too hard.
Try it, you ignorant slut!
Oof. Alex, first time chat, welcome. I've learned to talk in groups with neurotypicals, but it pains me because we are all just talking over each other. It's so confusing and so chaotic and so not intuitive to me at all. At all. But anyway, going back to like the start of the pandemic, I was too busy like reclaiming my personhood and my identity. And then you know, that whole like limbo period of being single and just casually whatevering, you know, and then I met Pidge and everything changed. Like, that's when the dust started to settle for me. Meeting Pidge and also late discovered ADHDer. Neither one of us knew that we were neurodivergent, when we met. I still thought that I had BPD because I was misdiagnosed with that borderline personality disorder during my abusive relationship. You know, when my body was in constant fight or flight and I was being traumatized daily, and my fear of abandonment was immense because I would have the destiny of our relationship held over my head as collateral all the time. So of course you're afraid of being abandoned when you're being threatened to be broken up with because you asked a question. Fuck me, you know? But anyway, I told Pidge when we first met that I had BPD because I thought I did. And he didn't, even for a millisecond, judge me, not believe me, question me like, are you sure? Be afraid of me. None of that. And that was so fucking refreshing because in my previous relationship, when I told him that I was diagnosed with that, after a fucking 5-minute conversation with a psychiatrist who did not do his job. Because what? You don't even know me. What's my middle name? Do I love cats or dogs more? Like, you can't stamp somebody with such a stigmatizing diagnosis like that in 5 minutes. You can't. Like, that shouldn't be a fucking thing, and yet. But anyway, my ex weaponized it against me and would use facets of BPD that he learned on his own accord to gaslight me. Whenever I would confront him with something that was bothering me, he would say I was splitting. And he'd be like, you're not yourself right now. You're splitting. That's not what's happening. That's not what reality is. And, you know, just questioning my entire existence and everything in it. Not knowing. Not being able to trust myself. Had a lot to overcome. But once the dust started settling from all of that, I discovered my neurodivergence, yada yada, the rest is history, right? And it's kind of infuriating how after 28, 29 years of working twice as hard and failing twice as often, and when I say working twice as hard, I mean putting forth as much effort, brain power, energy, brain juice as possible to make connections with people and failing tragically so many fucking times. That's what I mean by work hard. I'm not saying I work harder than everybody. No. I was grinding my brain into powder, trying to get it. Trying to get people to, trying to click with people who everyone else seemed to click with. And I didn't. The clicking just was not happening with me. Went from that to finding a community online of other undiscovered or self-identified neurodivergent people. And every time I would share a facet of my past that I had never shared before online, or I would talk about it, I would get responses from people within my community who have been through the exact same thing. Which was bonkers to me. Because I had never met anyone else who could relate to me on so many internal levels. And all I had to do was just show up as myself and share as myself. And I'm still a little like waiting for the fucking shoe to drop with that, as far as just unlearning all those trauma responses, right? Like now I'm 31, soon to be 32. All my friends live in my phone. I don't meet up with local people because, like I was saying earlier, I don't know if I can finish my thought. All of my friends that I have made in this area where I moved to recently enough in my life were friends with my ex first. And when that relationship ended, a lot of those relationships fizzled out for multiple reasons. It wasn't like I fell out with those people. It was just, drifting apart and whatnot. Plus, it was too painful, too difficult, too triggering for me to still talk to those people. Because, and I tried. It wasn't for lack of trying. But when I did try, they just kept bringing my ex up the whole time. And I'm like, kind of don't want to fucking talk about that shitbag. You know what I mean? I'm here with my boyfriend and like what? So for my personal fucking sanity and healing and safety, and space, I sort of all but severed those ties. Like, it's not like I'm not on speaking terms with any of them. It's just that we don't talk anymore. Like, we're still mutuals on socials and stuff. But, like, we don't really interact. I don't really see anything from them. So, yeah. All of my friends that I've made through the internet as my autistic self, all y'all live in my phone. All y'all live in my screens. And I'm at the point now where I'm not ashamed to say that anymore. I used to say that as like a, like, ouch, Tatum, that's pathetic.
Yeah,
Hold on, I'm about to sneeze.
yourself.
Yeah, like talking to myself, like, all my friends live in my phone.
What? What the fuck?
Bless me.
Bless you.
Where's my hi, welcome to Chili's button?
Hi, welcome to Chili's.
There it is. I'm not gonna play the whole thing. So yeah, all of y'all live in my phone. It's just, it's ironic and it's infuriating that the less brain juice and effort I put into trying to contort myself into something I think people will like, I've just put all that fucking shit down and I'm showing up as myself. I'm not worried about what my face is doing. I'm not worried about the tone of my voice. I'm not worried about how I come across to people. Because I'm too old for that shit, y'all. I can't do it anymore. I can't. I feel like I have people pleased enough for 3 lifetimes in my 31 years, collectively. I haven't exactly nailed it yet, but I'm the closest I've ever been consistently to not let my need to be liked rule my existence anymore. I talked about this on the podcast today. Oh, fuck. I forgot to bring that stuff up. I'll bring it up while we're talking, okay? But, we'll see if she can fucking manage that.
Yeah.
I can't. I already lost. I really don't know. I just want you all to be able to hear this podcast because we talk about just so much of this stuff and it's still rattling in my head. And it comes out in literally 2 days. I'm just getting the names and stuff for you so y'all can follow and listen. Follow and listen. It's called Beyond Deconstructing. That's the name of the podcast, hosted by T. Jamaica Pogue. I haven't gotten the link yet, of course, because it just happened today, but I have to wear all the hats, and I'm bad at this whole, like, promoting myself fucking thing. I'm doing my best. Just follow me on Twitter. I'll post it there. At Potato with the number 8. I don't have the spoons, and I'm live, and it makes my face hot, so. But you can follow Deconstructing Neuro on TikTok because she's incredible. She's actually one of the first creators that I like found. Oh God, it's playing TikToks. It's a Sylvester and fucking, what's the name of the mouse?
Tom and Jerry.
Tom and Jerry. Why did I say Sylvester? I think I'm short-circuiting live.
Oh, because Tweety Bird. You were just looking at Tweety Bird stuff, and that's the bird. That's the cat.
Sylvester and Tweety.
Yeah.
Okay, Deconstructing. I'm putting her at. Don't click that. That is her at. God, I'm bad at this. TikTok.com/@ symbol because TikToks are weird. Yep, there is her TikTok link. Follow her there. She's incredible. T. Jamaica Pogue. She is ADHD, and she helped me come to realizations that no one has ever said out loud in my presence before, and helped me make a lot of retroactive realizations. And I had been following her for like over a year before I started my own TikTok thing. as potatum as, hi, I am openly autistic and I'm here now to talk about it. And when she followed me back earlier this year, I about shat my pants, y'all, because she's one of my favorites, and it was just so awesome to get her follow. And then she invited me on the podcast, and I'm just gagged. I'm gagged. It's just a crazy fucking full circle thing. And my hope is that by me talking about this shit and doing what TJ Makeup Hogue was doing and still does such important work and advocacy for people like us, that I will be able to maybe help even just one other person make a connection that they previously hadn't considered. That there are answers to your lifelong questions that depression and anxiety don't explain, that bipolar or BPD don't explain, that any other misdiagnosis that you've ever received, especially as an AFAB or femme presenting human being, will explain.
That's a whole other conversation.
That is a whole other conversation.
Doctors weaponizing diagnosis against, women and femme-presenting people.
Yes. Doctors weaponizing diagnosis against femme-presenting people.
To control them.
To control us. Yeah.
To control them, put them down, keep them in their place, quote-unquote.
Yes. I've seen Girl Interrupted.
Right?
I know how that shit works.
I know about Liam Neeson. Wait.
Liam Neeson?
He's not in that.
Please. He is not in Girl Interrupted. Yeah. The autistic community that I've found online and that I've built within our own little this right here with y'all and on Twitter and TikTok and such, y'all are my haven. Something that I've always needed but have never had. And, when we were doing the shadow work a couple streams ago, thinking about my inner child always hits me right in the fucking feels, because she had no idea how good things could be. And I know how good things are because I'm here and I'm living them. I'm not an enigmatic fucking mystery. I'm not the Hellraiser puzzle that needs to be solved. Like, I'm not beyond saving, beyond helping. I don't have irreparable anger issues that can't be explained. Like, I'm autistic. And I'm everything that comes with that. And it really fucking itches my craw that so many autistic traits are seen as deficits and as behavioral problems and are pathologized. That's why ABA therapy exists. To essentially beat and train autism out of children. Like, you can't fucking do that, but don't let them hear you say that.
They take it as a challenge.
Yeah, it's essentially conversion therapy for autistic children.
Yeah.
To not be autistic. Because too many people base their perception of autism based on how that person's autism affects them. If it doesn't outwardly affect them, then they can't be autistic. I wish I could tell them that it's more than just outward physical traits. It's my fucking hardware, dude. It's how my brain is wired. It's not just me mimicking commercials and remembering license plates. It's how I process information, how I interpret events, how I learn and discover, how I look for answers. TJ Makeup Hogue she made a TikTok the other day, and I talked about it on the pod, about bottom up versus top down thinking, and I've talked about that some too. But she put it in a much more succinct way, that people who think top down assume. People who think bottom up infer, and I'll describe what that means. As an autistic person, and autistic people at large, not over generally, but just like a lot of autistic people that I've spoken to at least, their brains work like this. So they're presented with information that they previously did not know about. And usually, more often than not, the inclination is to, instead of accept it as at face value, is to find out more about it, to learn about it, questions just start popping up in my head like, wait, I have questions. How did that happen? Where did that happen? When did that happen? Who did it happen to? Like, my brain starts going before I do. And I'm geared toward learning as much as I can before making my final. And even then, my final is not final. Any conclusion that I reach through bottom-up thinking, like getting all the answers from the bottom and then making the thing up top. I don't remember the second half of that sentence. I'm sorry. I talked with my arms too much and they stole it from me.
You whisked it away.
Oh my God. It doesn't matter. I don't have a structure for this point, so I'm just kind of fucking... That was my thought, disappearing into the ether. I'm just kind of shooting the shit right now, but... And that's not to say that autistic people are incapable of top-down thinking. Because with some things, I absolutely am. And with some things, I'm actually inclined to do top-down thinking. Like... Okay, just like full disclosure, like the first thing that comes to my mind when I think of examples of top-down thinking in my life that I have to manually override and I have to find information in order to make sure that what I'm learning about is true or accurate. I struggle with this sometimes when it comes to if I enjoy an entertainer, a celebrity, an actor or actress, a musician, artist, and I enjoy their work and I resonate with their work and I think that they might be neurodivergent because of just the way they process information and the way they interpret things. It's just sometimes I can see that in other people and it makes me wonder if they are, and I feel connected to them in that way. And when I really appreciate someone's work, I dive all the way in. When they do something that's objectively shitty, or if they turn out to be a complete fucking piece of shit, my scumbag gut instinct is to cling on emotionally to my connection with them. It happens very fast, but it's still hard. It's hard to come to that realization when some of your favorite entertainers turn out to be fucking shitbags in various ways. You know, causing physical harm to people to just being a fucking neo-Nazi to everything in between, right? The way that top-down thinking for me comes in there at first, and then of course I quickly manually override it, is, but no. Like my brain is always like, but no, they're one of your favorites. Like how? Like this can't be true. That's me. That's my emotional connection talking. But then I'm like, okay, bitch, just process this, look it up, and see what actually happened, and then act accordingly. And then it usually involves me fucking unsubscribing to them or unfollowing them or taking their music off my playlist. That doesn't mean it doesn't fucking suck. That doesn't mean it's not fucking hard. But that was just an example lingering in the front of my mind. And I won't get into it here, but yeah, it still sucks. Yes, Whiskey. It is such a feeling of betrayal. Of like, damn, no, not you. Not this.
It's not just your money you give them, but like, you're like, you know, like, you like share spirit, you know?
Yes, it's more than just giving them money or like supporting them as a fan. Yeah, you feel a connection with them as a human being. Pickle. Yes. Gus Johnson. Yeah. Yeah. Gus Johnson was the hardest for me, but fuck that dude. Yeah. I'm with you. Fuck that dude. That was really hard for me too. Because I recently had found him on YouTube and was like binging his shit. And then I found out he was a piece of shit. And I was like, damn, that really sucks. I enjoyed his content that he made up until this point. Unfollow. Like, it's hard. But being a bottom-up thinker in a largely top-down world is hard. It's in my experience, it's easier for me to see top-down thinking for what it is than it is for me to try to explain bottom-up thinking to a top-down thinker. Because people who assume and then get the information later, then they may or may not change their original assumption. It can be hard to get through to them sometimes. AKA everyone I grew up with. AKA, you know, growing up in 90s in Southern Appalachia, where mental health was a myth, and if you were going through something, it was your own fault. Like, just so many unnecessary obstacles that we've had to overcome as undiscovered neurodivergent people. That I think Waba hit it dead fucking on. There's no way that you can't be traumatized on some level, if not by people not meeting you halfway with your neurodivergence and accommodating your neurodivergence, than just being traumatized at large by the system of oppression that we are all participating in, you know? Oh my God. My brain has been spinning for hours now. I feel like where I sit now, given the conversations that we've been having, it helps me make sense of this shit. And knowing that y'all don't judge me for that, and y'all want to be the same safe space for me as I try to be for you, that allows me to confront this stuff without that judgment. So, like, I'm really trying to work through my fear of something really fucked up happening to me, like what happened with June. That's something I'll never be able to forget, but I want it to be something that I can look back on as something that I overcame. I mean, I did overcome it. There's no doubt I overcame it, but it still affects me as an adult. I want to be able to make friends and maintain that friendship easier without that instance being at the forefront of my mind. And as this late discovered ADHDer, making the friends has been way fucking easier, but it's maintaining the friendship that I'm still fucking working on. I'm still fucking working on that. Working on responding to people, working on reaching out first. Ugh. That still fucking scares me, freaks me out, trips me up, fucks me up. Reaching out first. And I don't know why. I don't know why. Is it... I mean, I guess it's just like old people pleasing shit. I don't want to bother anybody. I'm still worried about how they'll perceive me sending them a message first. Like, my first inclination is to imagine them check their phone and go, oh, God. You know, like, I've got to let that shit go. I have to. And I will. But that's just full fucking disclosure. What I'm still hanging on to. What still holds me back. Actively. Like, present fucking day, bitch. But I'm working on it. I really fucking am. And as long as I have people willing to meet me halfway, I think I can get through pretty fucking much anything. If not out of spite, then out of, like, actual healing, you know? Like, don't get me wrong. Still very powered by spite. I can do all things through spite, which strengthens me. I almost never communicate unless the other person initiates first because of this. Yes. Same pickle.
That's why we never talk.
That's what... Yeah, that's why. I'm sorry. I almost never communicate unless the other person initiates first because of this. Thanks, Butts. Thank you for your insightful contribution, buddy. Butt T. But yeah. Friendships are hard. But bitch, anything that isn't easy, it doesn't come easily to me, I see as hard. Like, if I can't quickly understand something, then
it's hard.
I want to go into fuck it mode and be like, forget it, it's too hard, I can't do it. Like, I have to overcome that shit too. I'm just picking random cat hairs off of and like shirt fuzzies and whatnot. I hope y'all can't hear this. Oh God. Friendships are fucking hard and make me cringe to think about my early years and my early failures. But at least I'm no longer ashamed to talk about this stuff. I'm so sick of seeing posts from people who are like, if they say they have trouble making friends, bunch of red flag emojis. No, that's not. That's such a shitty thing to say. That's a shitty blanket statement that always rubbed me the wrong way. Because until I learned I was autistic, I didn't know why it was hard for me. But now I'm able to put language to it and able to explain why it's hard for me and make sense of why it's hard for me instead of just dismissing it as a me problem. And let me be clear on this. Me being autistic is not a problem. Because it's not, objectively. Being autistic is not bad, is not less than, should not be frowned upon. But it explains a lot of my missteps, a lot of my misinterpretations, misunderstandings, communication issues, etc. I'm still working through this shit, and we will continue as a group, as a Tatertown stream group, to work through this shit together.
A Tatertown mob.
Tatertown mob, if you will. Extra large order of cheesy tots, if you must.
I must.
You must.
Are they from Pals?
No, they don't have tater tots.
Oh no, what do they have? Cheesy rounds, cheddar rounds.
They're from Sonic, okay? Cheesy tots from Sonic.
Oh, okay. I want cheddar rounds.
Where they freshly change the fryer oil. They don't taste old, they taste fresh.
Okay, I want fresh cheddar rounds with extra Lowry's.
He's telling me his breakfast order now.
Thank you.
Okay. I'll get it for you in like 9 hours.
Oh, great. I hope I'll be able to.
But anyway, I was going to read out of the Adult Children of Emotionally Immature Parents book today, but I really wanted to talk about this as well. But we'll probably do that next time. We want to read chapter 2 and cover that. I know. It's hard and it sucks.
And it hoits.
And it's heavy and it hoits. But it's important fucking work. Me reading it out loud helps me process it. Y'all seem to really, I don't want to use the word enjoy. Y'all seem to get things out of it and resonate with it. I'll say that. Because I try to keep things light around here, but sometimes I do be crying, you know? It is what it is. Hopefully, by you all bearing witness to my frequent Criers Club membership, that will help anyone out there who might be dealing with some internalized shame around the amount of which they cry because you've been shamed for it your whole life, being told you're too sensitive, being told to dry it up, being threatened with physical punishment if you don't stop crying. I'm claiming that shit back as an adult because I was not afforded the compassion and patience as a child to exist as myself and be a human being with full spectrums of emotion. So I cry a lot. It's normal. It's a chance for me to regulate my nervous system because holding it in gives me physical ramifications. And I'm too old for that shit. I already have IBS. I don't want to have irritable tear duct syndrome. Whiskey will have her lawyer present at the next reading of that book. Sylvia, I have a really hard time crying. That's super interesting to me. And I hear plenty of people who say that and who struggle with that. And I wish that I had something to say to help, but
I think I have a bit of an insight on it, only because I also struggled to cry for a long time, and
speak on it, boo.
Being a mad man,
Speak up. Speak this way.
Right, being a man who, in America, in the world, oh, you gotta be a man, all that sort of stuff, holding your emotions and things like that. You know, I think that a lot of people, you know, you get to a point where you also don't want to, you know, no matter, you know, your gender or your role or whatever you end up, you know, whatever bite you end up taking out of life.
Yes.
You know, you're told, you know, oh, you're too much. That's too much emotion. You know, give me less of that. Things like that. You know, once that stops being the norm, you can start feeling your emotions again. You know, like I took a long way to get there, but basically saying, you know, instead of stifling your emotions, once you open the gate to it, it is like a floodgate opening. You know.
Yes. Thank you so much for that insight. PJ be dropping truth bombs, y'all. Like, listen. Thank you so much. Like, your perspective as a male presenting person, a cis male, is so fucking important, and you're not insecure in your personhood or your masculinity or anything like that. So, like, you help me get through a lot of shit, and we help each other, right? We're like, we help each other process this stuff. We remind each other to feel our feelings. That is to let it happen, recognize where it's happening in your body, and let it pass. And then when it passes, let it fly away. Like I said a couple streams back, or maybe even last stream, I used to reel it in and keep it because peace used to be icky to me and unfamiliar. But now it's the norm. Now that I've actually felt it, now that I've actually cultivated peace, it is a huge priority. A huge priority. Yes, just reading. Alex, learning to cry after unlearning the whole. What's the point of crying if crying doesn't help?
Right.
That my dad drilled into me as a kid was so hard. Oh my God.
It's just because my crying is making you uncomfortable.
Bingo! Pidge said it. He said, because my crying is making you uncomfortable. That is the long, medium, and short of it, folks. At least as my experience as well, the people in my life were uncomfortable with all of this. With this and everything that comes with it. My humanness. I feel big. I am very sensitive. My feelings are big. My care is big. My cries are big. My thoughts are big. And I feel like I don't want to place the blame on the people as people, because they are operating from internalized shame, guilt, fear, and doubt that was put onto them by their families and by the systemic oppression that is capitalism. Like, it all goes back to capitalism, bitch.
Right.
If there's one thing I'm drilling home on this channel, is that everything is traced back to the endless pitfalls of capitalism and white supremacy. Chupiton, thank you so much for the follow. I just apologize in advance, new friends, if I butcher your name. Please know it's with no malintent, and you are more than welcome to correct me on the pronunciation, and I'll get it right. But thank you so much for the follow. I'm so glad. Yes, I gotta read this chat. Y'all are lighting it up.
It's going off.
Okay, let's see. Oh, fuck. Okay, I gotta scroll. Let's see. Sylvia, I would get the stop crying or I'll give you something to cry about while I was getting spanked. I'm laughing because that's my exact existence. Exact. Like, how's that supposed to work, Dad? Wow, Pidge, he literally said it. That's something my parents was, Yep. Why are you crying while you're being physically punished? Also, you have to love me the same, if not more, after this. Good luck with your inevitably healthy relationships as an adult, right? No. For me, being healthy and having healthy relationships is being the cycle breaker of my family. Period. Striving for peace, striving for comfort, striving for having my own needs met as a human being goes against my whole fucking family tree, dude. Sylvia, my butt is numb, bitch.
That's what that chair does.
Butt number 3000. I need a chair that doesn't numb my ass. Sylvia, also when you get zero reaction from letting them know you're uncomfortable, you learn to just stuff it. Of course. when you're feeling 11 out of 10 upset, angry, stressed, overwhelmed, agitated, frustrated, dejected, angry, anything like that, and you're met with ambivalence and indifference, that teaches you that, oh well, I guess these feelings don't matter. Because clearly no one else is reacting. No one else seems to give a fuck. And it also leads you to, like, curl inward. And anything that is solvable in your child or adolescent or young adult or current adult or elder adult mind has to be solved by your damn self, because the people around you aren't going to help. It's super easy to internalize that shit. It's like the default to internalize that shit. Because as kids, realistically, children do have rights and agency, but no one fucking treats them that way. I posted about this the other day on Twitter. Like a parenting hot take that will get you like this, swords pointed at you. And I was like, every person who has made it to adulthood was a child first. That's how it works. So whether I have children of my own or not doesn't mean that I'm not qualified to speak on my experience as a child from my adult perspective, especially when it comes to any sort of neglect, abuse, trauma that occurred during my life that I didn't have the insight then to process or understand even. You're more than qualified to speak on your child experience from your adult perspective. So when I say that I don't support corporal punishment, I don't support spanking your children, period, the first fucking thing I hear is, well, you don't understand. You'll get it when you have kids. It'll make a lot more sense to you then. You'll just want to... All right. Cool.
So you're telling me that every parent everywhere gives up on actually parenting their children?
Yeah, no,
for like 2 years?
I refuse to believe that. And we know that healthy parenting relationships exist. We know that they're out there.
Yeah.
Because I see them on TikTok and online, and I read, stories about people who had healthy childhoods, and I scroll to the top of the page to make sure I'm not reading a fairy tale book. I'm like, oh, this can be real? What's that like? Curls up on floor. Tell me a story about the good times. How good could it have possibly been? But something I wanted to touch on earlier that came up, that got hidden, that resurfaced just now, is I don't know if my childhood or upbringing would have been much better if my family knew about my autism or knew about my ADHD. Like, I kind of fucking shudder at the thought, because mental health is a myth in Southern Appalachia. Well, now we've sort of evolved societally in this area to the point where, no, yeah, sure, depression exists and anxiety exists. And if you're going through anything mentally, especially as a femme-presenting person in any capacity, you have depression and anxiety. That's all it is. Those are the only two things it can possibly be.
Never anything else.
Never anything else. Unless it's also BPD, in which we'll give you that one for free. They be throwing out BPD diagnosis like they're Santa at a fucking Christmas parade. And BPD is candy canes, bitch. That's a whole other conversation for a whole other fucking stream, but I can't say that my childhood would have been any less traumatizing. I feel like it would have been traumatizing in different ways. I feel like I would have been even more isolated from my peers than I already was without having known that. I don't even know if my home life would be much better. I want to give the benefit of the doubt and think that if they knew about my neurodivergence, they wouldn't have done the whole corporal punishment on me as much, but I can't say that for sure. I want to believe that they wouldn't. Of course, I'll never know. Just shit that you fucking think about while you're processing this shit. It's part of the whole grief and rage cycle that you go through when you fucking learn all this stuff about yourself. There's just so much intergenerational trauma, too, that comes into play. Compounded by neurodivergence. Compounded by capitalism. Compounded by poverty, which is a product of capitalism, of course. Holy shit. It's just so much.
Free marketing ain't free
Y'all,
after all.
I could keep y'all here all night talking about this shit, but it'll just get less and less structured and more pauses will happen, and my brain is frying like a grilled bologna sandwich in my head right now, and I've low-key just been thinking about Fortnite. Thinking about just wanting to play Fortnite. Like on break, I told Peachy, I'm like, man, I just want this to be done so I can play Fortnite. Not that I don't enjoy being here, but I was talking from a crying place. I wanted the ouchy feelings to be over. But I think I am gonna call it here and go play some fucking Fortnite. Because hey, listen, I made it to gold 2 in ranked, bitch.
Hey, I'm not laughing. I watched you.
Can I get a name, man?
Hi, welcome to Chili's.
Do you know what that is? Do you know what that's from?
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah, of course I do.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my god, every time I bump the... Look.
Oh
my
my
fucking...
God.
My wobbly leggy ass. Y'all probably thought I was going up on a roller coaster this whole time tonight, and I apologize. Listen. It is what it is, okay? I have to put my legs on the table. Or it's like I'm not even sitting here. Thank y'all so much for being here tonight. Holy fuck. Lurkers, listeners, now and later, whenever you let me in to be a part of your day in any capacity, have me on in the background, I'm honored, and I appreciate each and every one of you.
Winner, winner, chicken dinner.
The burp just snuck in. It was still sincere, nonetheless. The burp was sincere as well. But I'll be back on Wednesday. Probably will be reading some more from that book. I'll let y'all know beforehand so you can have your tissues, lawyers, balls, and armor ready.
I came.
I'm so glad, Spec. I'm so glad. I'm glad you're getting something out of it, too. I'm glad this isn't literally just me turning on a camera and fucking trauma dumping. Like, I try to keep shit light. I try to bring it back to the light side. I try to talk this shit out, process it on my own. 3 decades of shit is a lot of shit, and I have but one shovel, you know? So, y'all really helped me through this, too. I love y'all so much.
I only have so many shovels.
Follow me on all these things. Follow PJ as well, Vibing with Azariah. I feel like so shit because I can't remember to ever plug my beautiful partner, but I'm making it a fucking habit because it's his birthday month. He's turning 31 soon.
Shitty fan.
And for his birthday, I want him to reach 100 followers on this app, on this website.
On this
So follow Vibing with Azariah, our lovely moderator. That's Pidge, right there. Him the best. He streams 4 days a week. Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. He's a Libra. He's a Libra. No, he's kind of like cusp-ish, but not really. He's on the 16th. That's so funny. I'll be back on Wednesday. PJ will be streaming on Monday. He's streaming Bloodborne and like some Halloween scary games. That game makes me viscerally ill.
I literally, like, I fought an enemy and I told you, I showed it to you, and that literally made my stomach turn upside down. I was like, oh,
Yeah.
damn it.
Arachnophobes,
Oof.
please feel free to give him a follow, but you don't want to watch him play Bloodborne.
No,
I'll
you
leave
don't.
it there, okay? I can't look. Like, our TVs are right beside each other. I cannot look while he's playing that. Anyways, follow me as well. I'm trying to get to 350. We're at 348. We've got 12.5 people here. Let's bump it up. Bump it, bump it, bump it, bump it, bump it.
My money
bump it.
don't jiggle jiggle, it folds. I like to see you wiggle wiggle, for sure.
So yeah, I'm gonna leave and play Fortnite. I love y'all. Thank you so much for being here. I hope you have a beautiful time zone wherever thou may art. And I'll see y'all on Wednesday. Bye.